A sound resonated through the quiet suburban street, an unexpected deep rumble of Harley engines slicing through the stillness like thunder disrupting a serene sky. 4 bikers rolled in, their black vests adorned with the fiery emblem of the Hells Angels, their shadows stretching across the warm pavement. Neighbors peered cautiously from behind closed curtains, mothers ushered their children indoors, and even the breeze seemed to pause. Yet within that cacophony of rumbling engines, a timid, fragile voice emerged, filled with innocence and a heartbreaking plea. "Sir, will you buy my bike?" The bikers slowed, their engines idling. On the edge of the sidewalk stood a little girl, no older than 6, her tousled hair and neat dress contrasting with her worn shoes. Beside her was a pink bicycle with a white basket, and in her small hands she held a cardboard sign reading, "For sale." The smallest biker, perhaps the kindest of the group, turned off his engine and dismounted, followed closely by the others, their heavy boots thumping on the pavement. He knelt before her, the chrome of his bike reflecting her innocence like a harsh mirror. Her name was Myra, and her eyes held a weariness that belied her youth. In the distance, beneath a tree, an older woman sat slumped against the trunk, wrapped in a blanket, looking frail. The biker's throat tightened as Myra spoke once more, gripping her sign a little tighter. "Please, sir, Mommy hasn't eaten in 2 days. If you believe in kindness, in second chances, and in standing up when the world turns away, take a moment to engage with Kindness Corner. Stories like this remind us that compassion can still transform lives." The biker was named Ryder, known to his brothers as Wolf, though the nickname felt inadequate. Beneath the tattoos and leather, he was a man who had endured more loss than most could fathom, a father who vanished, a son who never returned, and a faith in humanity he thought long lost. But that day, kneeling on the hot pavement, he felt something rekindle within him. He gently asked what she meant, and through her shaky breaths and tears, Myra shared her story. Her mother, Clara, had worked at a local catering company owned by Mr. Hensley, a respected man in town who smiled for magazine covers while donating to charities for show. When the company downsized, Clara was among those let go. She had pleaded with him to keep her job a few weeks longer to provide for her daughter, but Hensley dismissed her, deeming her replaceable. Since then, Clara had been too weak to seek new employment. Bills accumulated, the fridge lay empty, and her pride prevented her from asking for help. Myra decided to sell her only toy, her pink bicycle, for food. Ryder felt something snap inside him, as if years of suppressed anger had erupted. His brothers, Tank, Viper, and Mason, recognized that look. Without a word, they nodded. Their feelings were not of pity but of fury, ignited by witnessing the suffering of the innocent due to greed. Ryder reached into his vest, pulled out his wallet, and placed a wad of cash into Myra's trembling hand. "Keep the bike, kiddo," he said softly, his voice thick with emotion. But this was not the end for him. He couldn't ride away knowing that powerful men had stripped everything from a woman and her child. He instructed Myra to stay with her mother, assuring her he would return soon, and then the engines roared back to life. The Hells Angels were no saints, but they had their own brand of justice. They did not resort to guns or violence that day. Instead, they wielded the truth. They found Hensley's office, a towering glass building shining in the sunlight, a monument to hubris. The 4 men entered with the force of a storm, their boots echoing against the marble floors. The receptionist froze at their arrival. Ryder locked eyes with Hensley through the glass wall of his office, a man adorned with a gold watch and a facade of a smile, hands that had never known honest labor. "What is this?" Hensley scoffed as they approached. Ryder did not raise his voice. Instead, he placed the for sale sign on the CEO's immaculate desk, the same cardboard Myra had clutched. "That," he said quietly, "is what your greed has cost." For the first time, the polished businessman appeared rattled. Ryder recounted the tale of the little girl, her mother starving beneath a tree, and the bicycle that held greater value and love than all of Hensley's possessions combined. Hensley attempted to justify himself, mumbling about business and layoffs, but his excuses faltered under the intensity of the bikers' moral outrage. They did not harm him. They didn't need to. Ryder leaned closer, stating, You can't buy forgiveness, but you have an opportunity to make things right. By sunset, the news spread throughout the town that the CEO who had once fired a struggling mother had anonymously donated a year's worth of groceries to families in need, cleared hospital bills for single parents, and rehired those he had wronged. No one knew what had changed his heart, except a few rough men and a little girl with a pink bike. When Ryder and his brothers returned to the tree that evening, Myra ran to them, her eyes sparkling with joy. Clara stood now, still frail but smiling for the first time in weeks. The light illuminated her face, and Ryder noticed how her hands shook as she tried to thank him. He simply nodded, acknowledging her gratitude while the engines cooled beside them. "You don't owe us anything," he said. "Just promise you won't give up." They shared bread that night, the bikers, the woman, and the little girl who sold her bike not for toys, but for love. The sunset cast a golden hue across the chrome, the grass, and the now folded cardboard sign resting in Myra's lap. For a fleeting moment, the world felt less broken. If this story has resonated with you, reminding you that kindness can emerge from unexpected places, please take a moment to engage with Kindness Corner. Every interaction helps spread stories of genuine compassion to those who need it most. And before we finish, share in the comments what you would have done in Ryder's position, as sometimes all it takes is one courageous act to restore faith in kindness.